There's another list you'll want to give a once over as well. This one being your year-end financial to-do list. I know, sounds a little daunting, but it's not so bad. Knowing how to spend your money in 2025 can be freeing, right, Dana?
It can, and I talk a few times a year with Abby Reed, who she makes me feel good about budgeting, and I love her approach. She recommends an end-of-year money talk with your partner, or just a deep dive look if you're single. Sure, it's a chore, but the rewards are going to be big.
I don't really adhere to the no lattes, no avocado toast, and that's going to solve all your problems. I don't think that that's the case.
Now, don't get her wrong. Abby Reed thinks you should mind your money, make a budget, and create emergency savings accounts. But she also thinks you should enjoy your life because people, it's short.
I think that picking categories that you really value, so whether it's travel or maybe gifts for your loved ones, pick your categories that you really value. And then when you go through your expenses, see where your money is going, and you can cut out things that don't mean that much to you.
See, that makes money management sound fun. But to get to the fun, you have to check off a chore, an end-of-year financial checkup.
What's a financial checkup?
That's kind of like a financial date, sort of, is how I look at it. And it is sitting down with a certain amount of time, 30 minutes, an hour, and having a checklist of what you're going to look at.
And she made this list for you. Tweak your budget for the new year. Take a new look at your monthly expenses and make sure it still works. Believe it or not, many people find they have more money than they had in the last few months because inflation is down and raises have kicked in. Look at your retirement savings. Is it still on track? Add more if you can. Same with that education fund. In Georgia, many use the 529 plan. Contribute to your HSA or FSA for pre-tax medical expense savings. And that emergency fund we talked about. We've seen some layoffs. More are expected in the first quarter of the new year. So get some money in there. 3 to 6 months worth. Make a date, put it on the calendar, talk about this with your significant other or financial advisor.
If we don't have a designated place on our calendar for this financial checkup, then it's going to get put to the bottom of the checklist.
You got to make a date. That's what you got to do. Put it on the calendar. And here's some parting advice from her. Going into next year, there are some people who are really excited about the future. There's some people who are really fearful about the future. She said, when we get in our emotions and we make emotional financial decisions, whichever side you're on, about the future, that's when you get into trouble. Stick to tried and true rules, steady as she goes.
Steady being a key word. You can't just do this one time, right?
Right. I mean, and these, you've got to, the meeting has to be at least once a year. That is your minimum standard. Financial advisors, they like to see you do this every 3 to 6 months. They'd say every 3 months. But end of year is the one that is non-negotiable. You have to do this.
You're kind of setting yourself up for success, but you said this can be freeing. It can really make you feel like you have even maybe more money than you thought.
And, I got a couple years on you, and I would give you this advice, and I have said this before. When I started budgeting, and I got later into the budgeting game because I was enjoying myself in the big city. And once I sat down and looked at my money and went, wait a minute, I'm frittering a lot of money on this stuff, and I don't even know where it is. Do I have it? It was just junk. And once I started peeling that back and moving the money to where I really wanted it to go, I ended up having more money and felt like I was getting things I really wanted. I know you don't believe me, but I'm telling you that's the truth.
And just setting yourself up for success, especially as we go into the new year.
That's absolutely right.
Thanks so much, Dana.